Alright, we back. It's been a hot second. Been a little busy with school and work and whatnot. Kind of been putting the videos aside, but kind of just got done with midterms. There was one class that was only 7 weeks, and I ended up dropping another class. So school load is a lot lower, and training, you know, kind of getting in the groove of things. Kind of like plateaued on the clients right now. There's not a lot of new clients, so things feel a lot more manageable. So I'm gonna try and start getting videos up again. Like, the plan was to do one a week. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that until summer, but I'll try and do that. That's kind of my goal. But today, what I'm planning on doing is just doing an upper body day specifically for kettlebells. It'll be a little bit of band stuff, just a little bit. Any kind of band will do. It's not hard to get. I'll show you specific warm up for that. I hate it when people would like walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes and then go and lift some weights or not warm up at all. So I'm going to show you a warm up specifically for upper body to kind of warm up the muscles that you're going to be using. That's the reason a lot of people get hurt or are really sore the next day, is they go straight into exercising, and it's a big shock to your muscles, and your body's just not ready. You're not pumping out blood to those muscles, and they're just not ready to move. So show you warm up, go through big muscle groups. So how I like to do it with my upper body routine is agonist and antagonist. So just quick description of agonist and antagonist. Agonist is the prime mover. So say you're doing like a bench press. Your agonist is your pecs, which are doing the main movement. And then you have your synergistic muscles like the front delts, the triceps. And then your antagonist is the opposing muscle group, so the major ones. So for the bench press, the antagonist is the middle of the back, so like the rhomboids, lower traps. So that's how I like to do my upper body days. If you're different than that, that's perfectly fine. But that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. So first we'll do the warm up. Let me just make sure it's still recording. It is. So a dynamic specific warm up. I can't quite tell what it is. I'll stand right here. So what I like to do for the shoulder is just really nice and simple. Doesn't require any equipment. It's just arm circles, you know. You can get crazy and do some other ones. I'll show you in a second if you don't like doing these. But progressively getting a little bit bigger range of motion. All right, working on the range of motion, and then full range of motion. All right, so just getting more nutrients into the body or into the muscle specific that you're gonna be using. You can do backwards ones, palms up, same thing. Start small and get bigger. If you have a band, this is the kind of band I'll be using, just a really light band. If you have a band, which you can do, called band pull-throughs. Same kind of idea though. Just pull through. Send out with this. You're gonna keep the core engaged. Make sure your back doesn't arch, and then not to bend your elbows. So if you need to, go wider grip on the band, so your elbows aren't bending and doing something weird. So let's get warm up the shoulders. Actually, I'll grab this band again. What you can just do for warming up the chest, you can just do some push-ups, you know, some body weight push-ups. If you have the option, you can do bands and just kind of mimic the muscle movement you'll be doing when you're doing a chest press, or like I said, just push-ups on the ground. Let me direct it downwards. I'm a stickler for good push-up form, so I'll show you good push-up form. So flat back, go down, keep the elbows close, push up. Push into the pads of your hands. I see a lot of people externally rotating their palms when they're doing push-ups. So make sure you internally rotate them and push right here on your hands. And then another one I like to do, scapular retraction. So warm up the middle of the back. Scapular retraction is just squeezing those shoulder blades together. So I'll do it from behind. This is how you're gonna set up, okay? Squeeze, shoulder blades together. All right. And you don't have to go all the way. You can go like right here. All right. Or you go full. You just want to warm up that middle of the back. Like I said, specific warm up. Warm up the muscles you'll be using. So chest, mid back, lats. You get a little bit of that with the bands. Chest. So that's a good general warm up. You can do some. I mean, there's a million different ways to warm up, and I don't want to do like an exhaustive list. So we'll just get into the warm up now, okay? or sorry, I think I said warm up again. We'll get into the workout. So let me make sure this is pointed up. All right, so the first one we'll be doing is a shoulder press. Right here I have my two 35-pound dumbbells, or kettlebells, sorry. So you can do them single. I'm gonna be doing them double since I have to. So you can also work on that scapular stability while you do the press with the other one. All right, so get in your rack position, core tight, no arching the lower back. All right, core tight, press it left.
Is today Josh's birthday?
I don't know. Alright. So I was just 6 on each side, keeping the reps low. Working a little bit more towards strength. That's pretty heavy for me, overhead press. Couldn't probably do too many reps. But you know, you can change the reps, sets, all that kind of stuff with your goals. If it's endurance, hypertrophy, strength, power, you know, I can maybe break that down in another video of the different weights, intensities, different sets, reps, intensities, and rest for all those different goals in another video. But yeah, just a key thing here with when you're pressing, you don't want to go straight up. You kind of want to go around in a kind of an arching fashion. So right here, you kind of want to press your elbow out. See how the bell is behind you. So when you're in the rack position, the weight's to the side. When you come up, the weight gets behind you. So you kind of want to rotate your elbow with it, or else it's going to look kind of funky and feel kind of funky. Alright? I'm going to do another set here for you guys, and we'll move on. Second set there. I'm just gonna do 2. Like I said, I want to just keep repeating the same thing. Key thing, I hope you noticed, also getting up from the set and getting down from the set. You're still in control of the weights, right? I see a lot of people with any kind of weight they're doing. They get, like before they get ready to work, they actually do the set, or right after, they kind of just let the weight do whatever. They kind of yank it around, throw it around. They're not really cognizant of what they're doing. You want to make sure you get set up properly and unload the weight properly. Alright, because you know, just because you're not in the middle of your set doesn't mean you can't get hurt. So make sure when you lift the weight up, you know, using your legs, not bending over your back, all that kind of like fundamental stuff. Alright, so shoulders, antagonists of the shoulders, the lats. Alright, so what we'll do is a double kettlebell row. Alright, your standard bent over row. So let's get it. Perfect. So that was bent over row. So anytime you're working out with like free weights, I like to emphasize to my clients and people I see in the gym just to be in an athletic position. So it's like that movement prep I was telling you about, being in the proper form. You want your whole body to be nice and steady and ready to work out, not just your lats because you're working those out. So athletic position, like I said, you know, feet about shoulder distance apart or a little bit wider. All right, knees bent, soft knees, kind of like thing. You don't want to be flexing the whole time. Bent over at the hips. And this one you want to exaggerate the bend over because we're doing a row. Like this is like the athletic position. So you're playing baseball, you got like shortstop, you move quickly. You're playing like basketball, you're in front of the person, and it's just a good position to be in. You can move from that position. You know, you might not be an athlete, you might just be a regular kind of person that just works in 9 to 5. But I always emphasize this. You don't want to think about it working out, you want to think about training like an athlete, even if you're not an athlete. You want to train with intent. Alright, so let me get another set here. Boom. Another set there. Let me just check make sure it's recording. Yeah, we're good. So one other thing I wanted to really emphasize with the row is I see a lot of people rowing all the way up into their shoulders. All right. You don't necessarily want to do that. You want to pull for more like midline between the hips or the shoulders, or shoot more for the hips. Okay. Just better technique, and it'll really help with that squeeze of the shoulder blades. Although you're not primarily trying to do that, it's just a good addition to strengthen that middle back that we talked about. But we'll hit it more specifically in a second here. Alright, so it's the next day. Just so you know, if you're wondering why my clothes are different. I was doing the video yesterday, but the battery died. By the time it charged, it was too dark out, so I was like, crap. So next day here, so we did we did our warm-up, shoulder press, rows. Now we're gonna work on chest. So a really great exercise I like to do for chest with the kettlebells is a floor press. And I think this exercise is underutilized. I think it's really good for beginners to learn how to press, because I feel like a big problem with like a bench press, when you're like, it doesn't matter what weight you're lifting, but like when you do a press on a bench, like the extra range of motion, people don't really know how to do it that. So if you bring your just elbows down at a 45-degree angle and you hit the floor, I feel like that's a good way to kind of learn your press, and until you feel more comfortable and increase the range of motion, and then maybe eventually move on to the barbell. You know, once you know your both sides are equal in the pressing force, and you start moving on to a barbell. So floor press I think is a great exercise. Let me set up the camera so it's pointing towards the ground so you can see what's going on, and I'm gonna do it for you guys. I got the watch. All these little spike balls around the ground. So get your kettlebells in the rack position, but we're laying on the ground. From here, press it. So that's the floor press. Very similar to a regular bench press, but just on the floor. That's why it's called a floor press. So yeah, I'll do another set for you, face towards you guys though, so you can kind of see a different angle. Big fan of this. Mainly working the pecs. the supporting muscle, and this is the front delts, triceps. As I believe I talked about yesterday, the antagonist to the pec. Okay, sorry. This time the SD card got full. There's gonna be so much editing in this. I don't know if I'm able to do it, but I'll try my hardest. Okay, so what I was trying to say is floor press. It's better because sometimes at the gym you go and there's like a limited amount of benches, and you just can't get to a bench because it's too busy. You know, like that, like rush hour, like 5, 4, like pretty much like 4 to 8, or even later, and sometimes earlier. Just kind of depends. So obviously, you know, you can do a floor press literally anywhere there's room on the floor. So that's a good variation and option for you if that's a problem for you. Just, you know, throw it in there if worst comes to worst, or like I said, if you're a beginner. Alright, so I'm going to do one more set here. Let me make sure it's pointed towards the ground. And I'm going to do it facing you guys this time, so you can get a different view. Alright, so that's the floor press for you. Like I said with all the other ones, you can switch up the reps, sets, make it work for you. Let me know in the comments if you want me to break down sets, reps for all different kinds of goals and whatnot. So that's the floor press. Next, we'll go to the antagonist, which is the middle of the back. One of my favorite middle back exercises is a single arm, what would you even call it? Rear delt. I'll just show you. It'll be a lot easier. So for this, you need a band. We're not gonna use the kettlebells because with the mid back, it's pretty small muscles. The rhomboids, the lower mid traps, not very big muscles. So like 35 pounds to what you're working on is scapular retraction. You don't need a ton of weight. 35 pounds is a lot of weight. So that's why I got a thin band here. You know, even like a little bit thinner than this might be better, a little bit better, but I don't have anything thinner. So all you need is the anchor point and a band, and their rear delt pull through, or not pull throughs, but pullovers. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. But so you see I have my band wrapped around the kettlebell here, and that's just my anchor point, just so you can kind of see what the layout looks looking like. And let me see, right there, perfect. So we're gonna go back to that athletic position that I keep harping on. Very important. I want to make sure I'm in the shot when I do it. It doesn't look like I am. I'm sorry guys, I need to get a cameraman. Trying to do it and be a cameraman is hard. Alright, so anchor point's over there. So your arm and band are going across your body. That's key. I see some people that try and do it with this one and like raise up or something weird. You want to make sure it's across your body. Athletic position, you're raising up and pull. Alright, so you're doing the scapular retraction, and you're also using your posterior delts. And because it's a band, you can adjust the resistance that you're pulling on. If you want it lighter, walk towards it. If you want heavier, walk away from it. Alright? I'll give you this view. With the other arm. So you're starting to cross your body, pulling up. Alright? You really want to be bent over on this one because you're standing upright, you're pulling, you're using more like the mid shoulder, and not really the posterior delt, but what you're really focusing on is the middle of the back. So if you're standing upright, you're not using it at all. So you really want to have a band, your chest like over the band like this. Alright? And since this is a band exercise, I see a lot of people do band exercises improperly. They just let the band yank them down on the eccentric, the lowering part. Really control that band. It'll be key. You don't want to just yank it back, because then you have no eccentric muscle action. You're not doing anything. The band's just pulling on you. So those are, I gotta give them a name. Rear delt. Jesus, I don't know. I should have thought this before. Rear delt side pull throughs. We'll call them that. So you're pulling through on the side. Rear delt side pull throughs. So yeah, those are my exercises. Now we'll do bis and tris. Usually you don't do like arm muscles with kettlebells. It's not really what they're designed for. It's more of a flow, full body movement, not isolating muscle groups. But of course you can do it. So with biceps, I mean, the easiest way, of course, is curls. I'm trying to curl 35 pounds. Jesus Christ. Alright, but doing single arm like that's kind of tough because the ball of the bell kind of gets in your way. So what I like to do is hold it by the horns and then curl it this way. So you start bottoms down and you end bottoms up. Alright, this is my preferred way to do curls with the bell. And I mean, you can do all kinds of different variations. You can hold isometrically at the sticking point. You do lots of different things. You can do drop sets with the kettlebells too. You know, I love doing drop sets normally with kettlebell or with doing biceps. I feel like that really helps with the muscle development. Lots of different things. Then triceps. Let me direct this upwards because I'm going to be doing an overhead tricep exercise. Basically, you're going to be doing tricep overhead extension, which is a very common exercise to do with dumbbells, but you can do it with the kettlebell. You start with it up above your head, come down, extend up. And you hold it pretty much the same way that you do with the bicep curl by the horns. Let me bring this down a little bit. So this one is similar to overhead press when you're working out the shoulders. You want to make sure you don't overarch the lower back. Just keep the core tight, engaged. And with any tricep exercise, I see this a lot at the gym, is elbows flaring out when you do tricep exercises. You got to keep your elbows tucked in, or else you're going to be mainly using your shoulders, which it's not a bad thing, but it's not what you're targeting. So, well, kind of is a bad thing because it can cause shoulder impingement and that kind of thing. So you want to keep the elbows in, and that's for any tricep exercise, but especially for this one. So now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I had the same kind of grip for the bicep curl and for the tricep overextension. So what I like to do is combine them and do what's called like a superset. Or you could do a flow. So a superset is when you do your whole set for one muscle group, and then immediately after you do another muscle group. So back to those agonists and antagonists. That's what I like to do. You know, you do all your bicep curls. Just say you do like 12 reps in a set, and then you go straight in and do 12 or whatever tricep overhead extensions. I'm a big fan of doing that. Or you can do it in a flow, like I said. You can do a curl, bring it up, tricep extension, bring it down, and then uncurl. and I'm a big fan of that too. And then, you know, if you don't like just isolating your arm muscles, what you can do is make it a full body movement and start with the bell on the ground. You squat down, grab it, curl it while at the bottom of your squat, which is pretty difficult, trust me. That requires a lot of hip mobility though, so you might want to start with the kettlebell raise if you need to. So you curl the bell up, stand up, you do your tricep overextension, you bring the bell back to your chest, you squat down and uncurl the bell. So I'll show you all those different variations right now. Let me move up the share it's recording. It is. So you just got your curls, you know, you do your set, whatever. We'll say our set's 3. Then, right after, way up above, tricep, overhead extension. Alright. Or you could do the flow, and you can just do the just upper body flow, in that you get your kettlebell up, you do curl, press over, tricep, uncurl, and back. This is the upper body flow only. Or you can do the full body flow. Start with the bell on the ground. There's no way I'm gonna get the whole movement here. I'm sorry. I'll move it during the process. I'll show you the upper part, I'll show you the lower part. But you're gonna start standing right above your bell, squat down, curl, come up, over, tricep extension, bring it down to your chest, squat down, and uncurl. Alright, I'll show you the bottom part, because I know you couldn't see that before. It's important. So you squat down, curl, stand up, tricep, overhead extension, bring back the chest, squat down, uncurl. So lots of different ways to kind of mix up your bis and tris, because in my opinion, that kind of stuff gets very monotonous. Just doing, like, you know, bicep curls and not lat pull-downs, but push downs, tricep push downs. Just doing that over and over gets exhausting, or not exhausting, but alright, the camera went off. This editing's gonna be really rough, but whatever. I was saying triceps. Oh yeah, you can't hit every head as much as possible, or even at all, with just doing a couple different exercises. You gotta mix it up. So the reason you do overhead tricep exercises is it gets the long head of the tricep. You can only get that head if you do an overhead tricep exercise. Otherwise, you're just doing push downs and like kickbacks or something like that, you'll never get it. But you get the other two heads more so when you do push downs and kickbacks and those sort of things. So you got to do a mix of both, so you can equal amount of growth throughout the whole muscle group and not just part of it. You know, everyone thinks of a muscle as just one, like muscle belly, but I mean there's very few muscles that are like that. Like the quads, there's many muscle groups, hamstrings, even biceps, there's 2. There's different grips and whatnot to change muscle activity. So that's just my little rant on that. So yeah, that's pretty much a full body exercise. I'll go back through and just remind you guys. You can do these in any order, but what I like to do is shoulder press. All right, so lats, agonist, antagonist again. Floor press to the rear delt band pull through that we talked about. And again, agonist, antagonist. And then for the arms, bis and tris. And I showed you lots of different variations of that, but a curl and a tricep extension essentially. Again, agonist, antagonist. So yeah, that's it. I could throw a little bit of core in here, but I think I might do a different video for that, because core is, you know, it's this whole other beast, you know, and I think this video is already pretty long. So that's it. Alright, bye.